Disclaimer. Please forgive me now for there may be mispronunciations in this video. There are urban legends that surrounds the likes of a cryptid known as the Goatman, a satyr-looking beast that isn't all too pleasant, and who may even kill, depending the legend. Here are 5 goatmen from the United States. Living beneath a railway trestle near Louisville, Kentucky, is a part man, part goat, or part man, part sheep monster. It calls for help, luring its victims onto the trestle, where they jump to their deaths before an oncoming train can reach them. Other stories claim that the Goatman jumps from the trestle onto the roofs of cars passing beneath it. And of course, there are legends of the Goatman attacking its victims with a blood-stained axe. There are a few origins that surround this Goatman. One is of an undead old farmer who sacrificed goats to Satan. The second is that of a Goatman was a circus freak that vowed revenge after being mistreated. The third is that the monster escaped after a train derailed on the trestle, linking him to the ghost train from the same area. There have been deaths from people jumping from the trestle, but no one knows if it was thrill seekers or victims of the Pope-Lick monster. One such death occurred on April 23, 2016, when a 26-year-old tourist from Ohio died after being hit by a train while searching for the monster. Her boyfriend survived by hanging on the side of the trestle. In 1988, a 17-year-old man was hit and killed by a train. Another young man was injured while trying to cross the trestle. In 1994, a man was killed by a train after his ATV overturned on the trestle, trapping him on the track. In 2000, a 19-year-old fell to his death after encountering a train. Some believe the trestle is abandoned, but it indeed still runs a major rail artery into Louisville. Heavy freight trains cross the bridge several times daily. There is a 1988 film by a Louisville filmmaker called The Legend of the Pope-Lick Monster. It was only 16 minutes long and premiered December 29, 1988 at the Uptown Theater. Most of the film was shot at the Pope-Lick trestle, but scenes showing the characters up on the trestle were shot at another safer location. The Norfolk Southern Railway officials were very upset about the film, believing it would encourage teenagers to visit the trestles. Because of this, they issued a statement, read at the premiere, which warned the trestle dangers and informed the audience that anyone caught on the trestle would be persecuted for trespassing. The story of the monster was featured in an episode of Destination America's Monster and Mysteries in America entitled Ozarks. There are a few different stories of Goatmen in Maryland that maybe one day I will get to. But today we are talking about the actual satyr creature that chases automobiles near Beltsville through the years. The Goatman was often credited with the deaths of canines in the area. According to an article in Modern Farmer, the Goatman legend has numerous beginnings, as they normally do. One being that he was a goat farmer seeking revenge on teenagers who killed his livestock. Another is that he was a monster created by the Beltsville Agricultural Research Center, or that he is a natural monster native to the area. The Modern Farmer article quotes University of Maryland professor Dr. Barry Pearson, who said the Goatman sightings began in the 1950s and became frantically popular in the 1970s. During this time, there were many disappearances and or deaths of multiple dogs, which were later attributed to the creature. However, given the condition of the remains, the deaths may have been likely the result of passing trains. The creature was commonly claimed to have a human face with its body covered in fur, but the descriptions differ on whether or not the Goatman resembled a hairy humanoid or a human with a lower portion of a goat similar to the fauns of Greek mythology. Rumor has it that the Goatman resides in a makeshift shelter in the wooded region of northwestern Prince George's County near the vicinity of Bowie. It was rumored to venture out to kill a dog or rush up abruptly beating cars with an axe. To further explain the various legends, the creation of the creature via the Beltsville Agricultural Research Center is that the scientists experimented on goats, and it backfired on him, mutating him into a half-man, half-goat creature who aggressively attacks cars near Beltsville, Maryland. Another version is that the Goatman was an old hermit who lived in the woods. The Lake Worth monster of Texas is a legendary creature that inhabits Lake Worth at the Fort Lake Worth Nature Center and Refuge, just outside Fort Worth. Like the other creatures in this video, it is said to be described as part man, part goat with scales and long clawed fingers. Reports of the sightings by local citizens of such a creature was around July 1969 and led to the belief that the creature lived in Lake Worth. One such sighting was of a man experiencing a monster landing on his car after it jumped out of a tree. Another sighting was of it throwing an automobile tire at a group of people. Newspapers also published a photograph taken of the creature by Alan Plaster. Locals drove out at night to get a look at the creature. Local police investigated the claims and sightings but found no evidence of the monster in Lake Worth and Greer Island. According to one reporter, the legend of the Goatman was spread from summer camp stories, where camp counselors told children to listen carefully and you'll hear his cry in clear nights like tonight. When interviewed, Alan Plaster, the owner of the picture of the Lake Worth monster, described it as a man-sized white furball. He took the picture while driving past the Nature Center in 1969. Plaster characterized the sighting as a prank, saying whatever it was, it wanted to be seen. Reports of the monster stopped when school resumed. Because of this, many suspected the incidents were pranks carried out by high school students. In 2005, a reporter at the Fort Worth Star-Telegram said to have received an anonymous letter from someone claiming to have been one of the 3 school's classmates who, during the summer of 1969, decided to go out to Lake Worth and scare people, using a tinfoil mask. And in 2009, Fort Worth, Texas magazine published a report about an unidentified man said that he had been a perpetrator of the tire-throwing incident. Even though it was described as a Goatman, cryptozoologist blogger Craig Woolheater said he believes the Lake Worth monster is an undiscovered, uncatalogued primate species that walks on 2 legs. A Goatman haunts the northeast quadrant of Dallas, Texas, in the suburban area of White Rock Lake. The northern part of the lake is now a state park, while the southern area has been developed into waterfront estates. The stories surround people who are picnicking at the lake during the dusk hours when they saw a creature half man, half goat appear out of the woods and throwing trash and tires at the visitors. He was described as very large, about 7 feet tall, with horns and hooves of a goat but standing erect. The body and legs were those of a human, and the face was human-like. His skin was described as being almost greenish, and he had long, gnarled fingers with disturbing fingernails. One account by Sandy Grace occurred in August of 2001. She was jogging along a 9-mile-long trail around the lake at roughly 2 p.m. She would come face to face with a horned humanoid creature. She found herself overwhelmed by an intense sense of dread and claimed that she had never experienced a panic attack before, but she guessed that this was probably the best explanation of her state of mind at the time. The creature started walking towards Grace from the thick nearby forest. She described it as being a large humanoid covered in thin, coarse brown hair. 2 large horns-like protrusions emerged from its forehead, and it bore an evil grin on its face. However, once it got within roughly 15 feet of Grace, the creature immediately crouched down on all 4s and proceeded to literally vanish in a flash of light. Old Elton Bridge is also known as Goatman's Bridge and is a historic iron truss bridge that connects the Texas cities of Denton and Copper Canyon. This Goatman is unique for it was described in having glowing empty eyes, but like that last Goatman has goat-like horns. Locally, the bridge is known as Goatman's Bridge, and is said to be haunted by a half-man, half-goat figure called the Goatman. The origin is based on a legend of a black goat farmer named Oscar Washburn, who was said to have moved his family to a residence just north of the bridge. A few years later, Washburn became a dependable and honest businessman dubbed the Goatman by the locals. There he displayed a sign on Elton Bridge reading, "This way to the Goatman." But even though he was successful, he was still unwelcomed by many. And in August 1938, Klansmen in the local government crossed the bridge and kidnapped Washburn from his family. They hung a noose on Old Elton Bridge and after securing it around his neck, threw him over the side. When they looked down to see if he had died, the noose was empty. In fear, they returned to his family home and slaughtered his wife and children. This story was never proven true since there is no documentation on an Oscar Washburn. Now locals warn that if you cross the bridge at night without headlights, you will be met on the other side by the Goatman. Ghostly figures in strange lights are said to appear in the surrounding woods, as well as reports of visitors being touched, grabbed, and having rocks thrown at them. Old Elton Bridge is now a popular spot for paranormal investigators such as the crews from Ghost Adventures and BuzzFeed Unsolved Supernatural. What do you think of these 5 Goatmen? Did you like this video? Want to support this channel and get early access? Feel free to check out my Patreon page where I create content on cryptids, hauntings, serious killers, alien abductions, and much more. Can't support me there? Like, comment, and subscribe here.